movement that we have, but we have to go deeper. We have to go into every community. We've been arguing in this trade union movement that it's not good enough just to be a good trade unionist in your work and then go home and see your community being attacked. The thing is, the attack in Leith was not an isolated incident. I had a woman who was part of a campaign I was involved in, and we were talking about building activists in our community. And she said, I'm no an activist. And then 5 minutes later, she told me an incident. She was on the number 19 going home. And what happened? Two people, two women, two older women, tried to grab her hijab off her head on the top of the bus. She went up. She's got a Zimmer. She went up and stood with that young woman and her child. And she went home with that woman and her child to make sure she was safe. And she told me that she wasn't an activist. How can that be? How people didn't perceive themselves. We need to go deep into our community. We need to go and find the activists, the leaders, the people who will stand up, the people who will listen, the people listen to in our communities. We need to band together. I just finished a festival in North Edinburgh. 13,000 people turned up to hear music, to hear a different voice. We're starting a thing called the World Cafe, eating from all over the world. Is it a hard demand? Is it really anti-racist, Willie? Surely you should just be fighting on the streets. No, you fight in all different ways. That's what's going to happen. Right now in Wester Hailes, the first attempt to put together a community response to the racism. And we saw what happened. I was there, 30 of us, standing. And what happened? The racists, 100 of them. And I have to tell you, we would have got battered. We would have got battered if the 70 cops hadn't stood between them and us. But they left, and we didn't. We don't leave. So the stall at the Wester Hailes Shopping Centre today, among a lot of other community groups, is part of that fusion that we need to be. But I've heard it today, and people quite rightly talk about Tommy Robertson and the rest. Farage, they say that they're the enemy, and they bloody are our enemy. But I have to tell you another question, or pose you another question. If Andy Burnham's the answer, what bloody question are we asking? These people need to feel the hot heat of our anger. These politicians who have helped to create the racist upswing that we are seeing. We need to find an answer, and I'll tell you what the answer is. It was the 5,000 people here. We're the answer. Street by street we need to go. When we were down in Leith, creating Keep Leith Warm, we said, let's go and ask people what they're thinking. And we went to the banana flats, and we went to the high-rise flats, and we knocked on doors, and we spoke to people. That's what we need to do, to confront the ideological thing. Just recently, we were all down at the pit in Montgomery Park, and a guy came up to the fence, and he started to shout. And we went over to him and we said, calm down, mate, it's all right, we're fine, and whatever. He said, this is our street, this is my street, and all yous are against Jewish people. All us are against Jewish people. We're the first to defend Jewish people. We're the first not the last. If their synagogue was being attacked, if they're being attacked for being Jewish, we're standing with them. When we've been organising the Palestinian movement for the last 3 years, and we've marched every Saturday and every other day that we can, we've been saying that Palestine is not an isolated, an edge of the movement. It's in the heart of the movement. That's why Palestine, the anti-racism that's contained in that, needs to be supported, and Sarah was absolutely right. But we see how trade unions and communities, as a socialist community trade union movement, we make no apologies. We want a different world. We're not looking for it by another £5 an hour or a different, better toilet paper. The trade union movement can't stand back. Speaker after speaker have spoke today from the trade union movement, and we need to be mobilising to make sure that every trade union leader, my trade union leader, Sharon Graham, she thinks that she just stands with workers who are fighting back on wages and conditions. That's how you build unions. That's part of how you fight and build unions. But that's not the only thing. You build unions with people who don't know what a bloody union is. You show them in practice. We, on the 18th of July in Craigmillar, are having another open day, a fun day with music and food, and we're bringing loads of people together. We did it with the Sudanese just the other week there. We raised over £1,000 in a place that's got the poorest part of Edinburgh. We did it with the Palestinians. We collected over £1,000. Again, these practical wee things that can be done in every community, street by street, door by door, we mobilise. Of course we come out here. But the people, and I'll just end on this, the people who mobilised in Falkirk, and if you had been there on the day that 1,000 people turned up to be racist, to people who had fled persecution and war and turned up in a hotel. I remember we were outside Bathgate Hotel, and these people come up and said to us, these people are stealing our jobs, they're attacking our women, they're attacking our children, they're walking out at night and we don't know what they're doing. So we introduced them to some of the asylum seekers, and they told them what they had done. And I thought, here's these people who have come from Syria. They've came all the way over Europe in a container or in a lorry or walked. They come to Calais, they come over in a rubber boat, and they travel up to Edinburgh. But worse, they say to write home to their mums and dads, we've arrived in Bathgate. Can you imagine? You've came all the way from Syria to arrive in Bathgate and think that's a good place to go. A place that everybody will say, you're right, Bathgate's brilliant. The local people didn't think Bathgate's brilliant. They want different. They want a change. They want a new world. We need to fight for a new world. It's not just partial demands. We want to win the war, but we will take them on battle by battle against racism, against division. Support your trade unions, but support and demand your trade unions. Go into communities and start to organise as they bloody should.